Okay, guys, we're gonna finish this flip book. That's gonna be part of your check. And we're gonna end up turning this in so I can check that we have all tabs completed. And we're gonna have a little kind of quick little worksheet at the end to kind of really check your understanding of our methods, all the methods within our flip book. So we are on the word problem section. And the key to this is kind of like read the word problem, kind of break it down by sentence and pull out the key information. On this first one, I'll give you some time to read it. Let me get some color code here. The first problem here is talking about a test that's worth 90 points. So that's key information that has 25 questions. And then it also states that our multiple choice questions are worth 3 points and our word problems are worth 4 points. So the point value is talking about the total 90 point value in that very first thing that I underlined. And we're trying to find, our question is basically how many of each type of questions are there. Okay, so I'm just circling the question. So the first thing you want to do is define your X and Y. So here I'm going to let X represent the word problems. I'm just going to do WP, and my Y represent the multiple choice questions. Now, right here it told me there was 25 questions in all. So that lets me know X plus Y, the two types of questions, equals 25. Total 25. Then I'm going to use what it's talking about, the point value, total worth of 90. But the multiple choice is worth 3 points and word problems are worth 4. So since my word problems are the X here, this would be 4X plus 3Y equals a total of 90 points. So equals 90. So now I have my variables lined up. The best method on a problem like this is elimination. And that's what we kind of want to write every time we're dealing with systems of word problems. And in order to eliminate, I need opposites. And I think I would focus on the smallest variable, this 3y. So I want to make this top y an opposite of that. So that means I would have to multiply it by -3. So I'm multiplying each term, the x, the y, and even the 25. I'm just going to rewrite it underneath here. So we get -3x minus 3y equals to -75. And now I can eliminate the y's by adding them together, because this now becomes 0. They're gone. And I'm going to add everything else. So 4x plus the -3x is just going to leave me x. 90 plus the -75 is going to leave me 15. So this lets me know my x equals 15. So there's 15 word problems. So they want to know how many of each. So if I know there's 15 word problems and there was a total of 25 total, right? 25 questions, then just mentally, my y has to be 10. It's 15 and 10 would give me 25. So there's 10 multiple choice. So the key is kind of like take in the key information, define your X and Y using that key information, the two things that are being compared or has a point value or has a some type of worth to define. So on 2 here, since we have, this is 100 pizzas sold, that's key information, that's total, okay? And it says Brooklyn Pizzeria on Monday. Actually, that's a good pizza place. On Monday, the large costs, so we have two types of pizzas. A large costs $16 and a small costs $11. If 1,550 worth of pizzas were sold, how many of small? Okay, so our question is we're trying to figure out how many small pizzas were sold. So we're going to define our X and Y with the size of pizzas. I'm going to let X be my small pizzas and my Y be my large. So my equation for total sold, okay, would just be X plus Y equals 100. And my equation for the worth, the amount of value that was sold, would be, since my large or my small is $11, that's going to be 11x plus my large, which is $16, 16y, equals 1550. Now, in order to get elimination here, we need to get an opposite. But remember, we're trying to find how many small pizzas were sold. So really, we want to eliminate the y so we can have solve for the x. So this y, even though 11x is smaller, we're finding the small, so we want to get rid of this 16y by creating the top to be an opposite. So we would need to multiply this top equation by a negative 16. So I'm going to distribute that negative 16 to each term. I'm going to rewrite it underneath here. That's going to give me negative 16x minus 16y equals a negative 1600. Now I can add them to eliminate the y's. Okay, so when I add the 11x and the negative 16x, it's going to leave me with negative 5x equals, in the 1500 plus this negative 1600, it's going to leave me a negative 150. So I can solve for x by just dividing by negative 5, and our x here is going to equal 30. So we had 30 small pizzas sold. Now, a lot of times when we're writing our equations, we're comparing two different units. And a lot of times we're doing that with money. So that kind of helps us define our variables. So kind of really pay attention to number 3 here, because you're going to have one to do on your own in the mixed practice. And so the key word it says here is that they have, well, it has 100 dimes and quarters. Okay. And she says that the total value of the coins is 2150. How many do we have of each type? So that's our question. So since we're talking about dimes and quarters, dimes could be my x and my quarters can be my y. Okay. All right, so my quarters. Now, there is a total of 100 dimes and quarters. So our first equation with that first part of the sentence is just x plus y equals 100. Then the second part of the sentence is talking about the total value. So we got to think about what each coin is worth. A dime is 10 cents. So we would have to write that as 0.10 or 0.10 x's plus the quarter 0.25 y had a total value of $21.40. All right, so since we're going to find the value of each, we just want to eliminate the smallest one first. So I would do my dimes here. And to make this an opposite, we're going to multiply by negative 0.10. That's to each term. All right. So we're going to rewrite. I'm just going to rewrite it underneath this equation. So it's going to be a negative 0.10x minus 0.10y equals a negative $10. Okay. So now I can eliminate the x's because they're opposite. One's positive, one's negative. And so we're adding everything else. So I'm going to be left with 0.15y equals 1140. And then we're going to isolate the y by dividing by the 0.15. So the y gets me a total of 76. So I have 76 quarters. And if I had 76 quarters and I know I had a total of 100, well, that lets me know 100 minus 76. I'm just going to write it over here. There would have to be 24 dimes. Okay, I just did 100 minus 76. Okay, so there's our dimes. They wanted of each. And here is our quarters. So you're going to have one similar to this to do on your mixed practice. Now, on 4, we're at a Rockets game. Brent bought 5 hot dogs. So I'm going to put 5 hot dogs and 3 bags of Doritos. So there's our 2 comparisons of what. And it was a total cost of $14.82. But then his friend Chris bought 7 hot dogs and 6 bags of Doritos for $22.89. So the 2 units here that we are comparing, are trying to find the cost of, are hot dogs and Doritos. So I would let my X represent my hot dogs and my Y is my Doritos. So I'm going to write an equation for Brent. Since he did 5 hot dogs, that's 5X, plus 3 bags of Doritos, that's 3Y, total $14.82. So there's Brent. Then I'm going to write an equation for Chris. 7 hot dogs, so 7X, plus 6 bags of Doritos, 6Y, equals $22.89. All right, so we're going to have to multiply to eliminate a variable on this one. Now, again, the key is to focus on your smallest variable. That's this 3Y. And then I got a 6Y. So I can make this an opposite here if I multiply this top one by -2. Because a -2 times 3 gives me -6. So I'm just kind of rewrite here. I have a -10x, because I'm multiplying at each one, minus 6y equals a -2964. And I kind of ran out of room here. Sorry about that. So the y's cancel. And I'm going to extend this page. I'm just going to go underneath. And so our x's, we have a -3x equals, the difference here, that's going to be a -675. And then we're going to divide everything by -3. Okay, so our x is equal to, our x is our hot dog. So our hot dogs cost $2.25. Do they want, what is the cost of each hot dog and each bag of Doritos? So there's our hot dogs. Now to get the bag of Doritos, we need to plug it back in. You can do the top or the bottom equation. I'm just going to go ahead and do the top equation. Since I know my value of x here, that means I'm doing 5 times $2.25 plus my 3y equals $14.82. Okay, so we're going to simplify this and we get 1125 plus 3y equals 1482. Subtract the 1125. Oops, that doesn't look like 11, sorry. Three y equals, is this right? 357. Yeah, that's right. Then we're going to divide by 3. So the Doritos are $1.19. All right, so we kind of ran out of room on this one. All right, so our last tab here, I'm just going to go to it, is now picking the best method. Okay, which method is the best? So for graphing here, it says you use graphing would be the best method when both equations is, and that's the key right here, both equations is in slope intercept form, meaning it needs to look y equals mx plus b. Okay, or basically you kind of want to have both the variables isolated. That to me is the key. We want both variables isolated so we could graph. Now, for substitution, it says when one of the equations has been solved, okay, for the variable. So one variable is isolated. Whenever I see one variable isolated, then I can use substitution. And then elimination is the best method to use when the coefficients of the variables are opposite or can be easily made into opposite by multiplying. I don't know why that's there. Oh, I know why it's there. Okay, so on number 1, I want to see if you can pick the best method here. So our best method should be using the graphing method because it's in slope-intercept form. It's in y equals mx plus b. So something like this, you can use your calculator. I kind of wanted to review the calculator trick to get to that. So if you go get a calculator in your hand, and if you go to y equals, which is, sorry about that. Let me get that out. It's right here in the upper right left-hand corner. So if you hit y equals, we're going to clear whatever you got in there. We're going to type in the first equation, which is x. X is next to the alpha button, so we got x plus 4. We're going to hit enter. And then we're going to put in 5 half x plus 4. So to do the fraction 5 halves, you do alpha y equals, hit enter, put the 5 on the top, 2 on the bottom, arrow to the right to get that x, and then we're going to do plus 4. So what you want to do is you want to graph it. Okay, I'm showing both right now. To turn that off, I'm going to just turn it off, just so we can see the full screen. I'm going to come over here and highlight this full and graph it. Okay, so there it goes. That's better because we can kind of see the points better now. So if it has a solution, the lines are going to intersect. So I know it has a solution because there's an intersection right here. So let's say I can really see what that point was. To get the intersection for the calculator to calculate the intersection for you, if you hit second and then trace, you get this option right here for number 5 for intersect. So if you hit 5, it's going to ask for the first curve. So basically, it's going to ask, the calculator is going to say, which lines do you want me to check for intersections? Well, we're going to hit enter basically 3 times. The first one, enter the second time, and then the calculator say, oh, you want me to guess on these 2? And you're going to hit enter one more time. And you have to see this word intersection at the bottom left of the screen to get that actual solution. So the intersection here happens at 0, 4, and that means that's our solution. Okay, because if they intersect, that's a solution. We just had one solution at the order pair 0, 4. So you can just write that down that by using the graphing method, we got to our intersection. Now, on number 2, the best method to choose on this one would be substitution. Okay, because the y is isolated. So I would circle what it equals. It equals is negative 2x plus 2, and we're going to substitute it back into the top equation. So we're going to use parentheses to show substitution, because basically we have this 4x plus 3, and we're going to substitute in for y what it's equal to. And inside these parentheses, let me change my font, is a negative 2x plus 2. So here, we're just going to distribute and then solve for x. So we get the 4x minus 6x plus 6 equals 13. We're going to need to combine like terms here. So we are left with a negative 2x plus 6 equals 13. And then we're going to need to subtract our 6 on both sides. And we get negative 2x equals 7. Divide by 7. Or negative 2. Divide by negative 2, sorry. And our x equals negative 3.5. So now that I have that value, I'm going to plug it back into the circle. So to get my y, I'm doing negative 2 times that, negative 2 times the negative 3.5 plus 2. So the -2 times the -3.5 is going to turn that into a +7 plus 2, which means our y is 9. So our solution is the order pair -3.5, comma 9. So what I want you to do is kind of see if you can pick the best method on the remaining 4, okay? Because we got 3 through 6, excuse me. Just kind of see if you can get that method and solve it. Well, hopefully on this first one you see that this would be elimination because the x and y's are stacked, but you want to create an opposite to eliminate. So I would hopefully see that we want to multiply this top by -3 first. So once you try to do that and write the new equation underneath, and then now you can eliminate your x's. On 4, the y's would be easy to eliminate, but again, they need to be opposites. So we're going to need to multiply by -1. Okay, so -7x minus 6y equals -4. Now we can eliminate. Okay, so once you try to get the solutions, these are what I'm going to check when I return. And then you have 2 word problems. Okay, number 5 here is similar to number 1, where you have your point value, your total number of questions. So on here, we have a total of 20 problems. Some problems are worth 2 points, and some are worth 3 points. The test is worth a total of 52 points. So kind of hopefully you're starting off with like X could be your 2-point questions, and your Y can be your 3-point questions. A total of 20 questions would be X plus Y equals 20. And a total of 52 points, that would be 2X plus 3Y equals 52. So let's see if we can maybe get to that solution, because they want to know how many 3-point problems there were. And then 6 was, this is dealing with money again. So this was like number 3. So go back to number 3 on the word problems and try to finish that. So when you're done with this, like I said, I'm going to check this, and then we're going to go on to some what's the best method practice here. And oh, actually, did I have this on here? Let me see. Oh yeah, I had it there. Sorry, I didn't have to open a new one. All right, so what you're going to do is look at the system, look how it's written, and then pick one of these methods to solve. So there could be more than one. Like on this one, I would probably pick graphing because it's already in slope-intercept form. This looks like y equals mx plus b. And then you just have to remember how to graph x equals 4. If it's x equals 4, this would be a vertical line, because you would go on the x-axis where the 4 is, and then the line would go up and down. So we're trying to find if the first equation, which is this -1/2 x plus 3, graph that, and then see if you have a solution, a point of intersection. Now, you could have used substitution, because I know x equals 4, and then I could have just plugged it back into the first equation. So I want you to try to pick a method, complete that method on the space provided. Make sure you put your name on this. I forgot to put that section for that. And then put this in the tray when you get done so I can check it off. All right, thanks for getting this done. Appreciate it.